Hi guys, welcome back to Planet Moonshine, the channel where we use home distilling techniques in a microbrewery. Today's video is about gin. Now, I know we did a video a little while back on gin recipe development where we were trying to make two flavoured gins, one that was accented very much towards juniper and the other that was accented very much towards citrus. I never did get around to making full batches of those gins, but today we're going to do a gin recipe and it's going to be different. This one we're aiming for a much more balanced gin that hasn't got any strong forward flavours particularly, but we're going to use that resulting gin to make some infused gins, things like rhubarb and ginger, cucumber and mint, blackberry, and of course sloe gin as an old favourite. Partly for fun and partly to curry some favour with Mrs. Planet Moonshine, who really likes her flavoured gins. So we're going to start off with some GNS. If you don't know what that is, it's a high ABV neutral spirit. And we've done a video on that before, so there'll be a card up above somewhere that'll take you to that if you need to start from scratch. But I've got here just under 8 litres of GNS, and that's what we're going to use for our base, and we'll get into that. So if that has piqued your interest, stick around, and I'll catch you in just a second with the full recipe. Okay, so I've got just under 8 litres of GNS at 91% ABV. So we're going to proof that down to 43% ABV, which should give me just under 16 litres. In terms of the botanicals that we're going to macerate in that, I'm going to give you this information per litre of GNS at 43% because this recipe is completely scalable, and the details will be down in the description, but just so that you've got an idea of what it is, we're using per litre 12 grams of juniper, 3 grams of coriander, 1/4 of a peeled tangerine. Well, that is 1/4 of the peel, I guess, from one tangerine. 1/4 teaspoon of Orris Root, a teaspoon of rose petals, 1 peppercorn black, and 1/2 teaspoon of ground almond. So that's all going to go into the proofed down GNS, and we're going to let that steep for 2 weeks. After that, we're going to strain it, and the resulting macerate at 43% goes directly into the still, and then you run it as a pot still run, absolutely no plates, and run it slowly. So we're wanting all of those flavours that we have infused into the GNS to come across, or at least as much as possible. Yeah, so we'll be discarding the first 10 mils as 4 shots, and after that we'll be collecting 400 mils per litre of gin that went in. We'll be collecting that at between 70 and 80% ABV. Now, to hit that window, you just adjust the speed of your still, the speed at which you're running, the power input, so that what's coming off is in that 70 to 80% range. After we've collected that and we've discarded everything else, we'll be proofing that down to 45% ABV or slightly less if that is what you prefer, although I wouldn't go below 40 personally. And we're going to leave that resultant spirit proofed down to settle for just 5 whole weeks. This is quite important because the flavours are quite harsh and jaggy at first, and they settle and balance over time. If you're planning to infuse, then you can go ahead and start that process such that your finished gin is available for you to drink at the end of the 5 weeks, and not sooner, really, if you can manage that. I'm not sure I can, but I'm going to try. So let's get into that. So each of my jars has about 4 litres. So in here there's 48 grams of juniper berries, which will do 1 jar. And at the moment we're just giving those a light crush. We're not grinding them down to powder, but we do want to make sure that they are cracked open and ready to go in. Have a look through before you start the crush. You might find bits of twig or other things in there. So this is what it looks like when you're about there. Most of these have been broken open now. If you still see any that look whole, just give them a go. But I figure that's good enough for this lot. Next up, 12 grams of coriander seeds. That's 3 grams per litre, and again, lightly crushed. Next in goes Orris Root. Quarter of a teaspoon per litre. These are already broken up, so I don't need to worry too much about that. We're going to add half a teaspoon of ground almonds per litre. So crush the peppercorn. And the skin of one tangerine, that's a quarter of a tangerine skin per litre. So I don't know if we're going to get this in without an overflow. It's going to be very, very close. Oh my God, we've made it. Well, it's not one though. Tangerines because it saves messing around trying to make super thin peelings of oranges. You can use a super thin peeling of an orange, but try not to get the bitty stuff. That's why we use the tangerine, because the amount of pith versus the skin is, very small. So I'm going to do this 4 more times and I'll come back to you when it's done. Okay guys, so here we are with 4 litre jars of macerate, all with exactly the same content, and I'm still eating oranges. Okay guys, so these gins, they have been macerating now for a couple of weeks, and I've been doing this, turning them upside down and giving them a shake around, you know, as often as I remember to do it, which hasn't been every day, but it has been some of the time. So now we're going to get into the next stage of this process, which is straining it out and running it through the still. So let's get started. So here we are. Alright guys, so the still is set up, all of the bubble plates have been removed, so we've just got a straight tube up. The deflegmator is in place, but we're not going to use it, we're going to leave that turned off. So the vapor path just is over the top and down through the condenser and then out through the parrot. So let's get the still turned on. Okay guys, so we're going to run the still at full power until the temperature starts to rise. That's not happened yet, we're still sitting around 15 degrees. And then once we see the temperature rise, we're going to do 2 things. We're going to turn the heat down. I'm going to take it down to about half to start with and see what we get coming off the parrot. And the other thing I've got to do is turn on the shotgun condenser as soon as this temperature starts to rise so that we're not losing any vapor. Okay, so the temperature is rising quite quickly now, so I'm going to turn on the shotgun condenser. And we should start to see drips very soon. So this is our first 4 shots coming off. We're only going to collect 10 ml. So now the parrot's slowly filling. So there shouldn't be too many 4 shots left. And we should start getting our first drips out the parrot just about now. And there we go. So that's cool. We're running about 85% ABV straight out. I've got the power level set to just below half, I guess. Just below half. So we're running. Now you'll notice I'm collecting in one big jar, and that's absolutely fine because we're not going to be doing a heads cut and we're not going to be doing a tails cut. We're just going to stop when we've collected 400 mils per litre. Okay guys, so we ended up with 5.4 litres at 82% alcohol by volume. I stopped it there because when we hit about 70% ABV, just slightly over, it started tasting quite tailsy, and I thought, you know what, I'm not going to take a chance. I'm just going to go with what I've got. Also, like an idiot, I lost maybe 2 litres of raw alcohol at the beginning because I left the drain port open. So, hey, anyway, we distilled about 14 litres and we ended up with, like I say, 5.4 litres at about 82% alcohol by volume. And so now we're going to proof that down to 40, which is my preferred strength for a gin. And so we're going to take about 5.9 litres of water, add that in, it should yield us about 11 litres of finished product. So let's get that done. Let's see if we can do this without spilling it. Oh, do you know what? It's not that I don't trust myself. But I totally don't trust myself. That's why I don't trust myself. Yeah, so that didn't loosh, that just bubbles, and as you can see they're clearing, so all good. Okay guys, so here we are. We have got just about 11 litres of gin at 40% ABV. Now, I know you're supposed to wait 5 weeks and the flavour of this gin will improve over that period of time. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a little bit and give you what you guys want, which is a first impression. It smells like a really quite nicely balanced gin. Okay, so we do indeed have a nice tasting balanced gin. There is a hint of orange and a hint of rose, which is from those rose petals that we added. It's actually quite delicious already, but I know from prior experience that the flavors will develop, because proofing a spirit down and then drinking it immediately is really a cruel thing to do, because that alcohol hasn't properly mingled with all of the flavor compounds and the alcohol. So 5 weeks. In the meantime, we could probably start to do some infusions. So watch out for future videos when we start doing our infusions with this gin, and getting ready to make our finished products, which will be some nicely flavored infused gins. So if you've enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps the channel, because it helps YouTube show my videos to more people. So yeah, please give it the thumbs up, and if you want to see the next videos about making the flavored gins, subscribe, ring the bell, you'll get notified when those videos are available. So in the meantime, catch you on the flip side, guys. Bye for now.